All right, our next section we're going to talk about here today is titled A World War. And I even mentioned months ago that Winston Churchill suggested that the 7 Years' War and the Wars of Austrian Succession were the true First World Wars. But this, of course, is the first one to get the name, which means something, I guess. So how does the war expand out of Europe, which makes it a world war, right? That's what this is all about, which is why Churchill suggested those earlier wars were world war because they were being fought all around the world. Okay. Well, we're going to find out that the Ottoman Empire, okay, this is this land here in pink. We heard Bulgaria comes in and takes out Serbia from this angle. And the Ottoman Empire is convinced by the Germans that if you join us, we'll give you back the land Russia took. Russia had taken this land right here from the Ottomans over the last 100 years. The Ottoman Empire had been weakening. Russia had also taken some land around the Balkan area. Around the Caucasus Mountain region. And these are the Balkans. And Germany said, look, Ottomans, join us, you weak, old, declining empire that was once great and powerful for 500 years, really long time. We haven't even been around for half that amount of time as a country, so this was a massively powerful and important empire, but they were weak, they were towards the end. And they did. They joined the Germans, who they believed were the more powerful, in hopes that they would get some land back from Russia. Disastrous decision for the Ottomans. We're going to see that the Russians try to, the Russian and the Germans and the French get together. They try and launch an attack in here through the Black Sea. This little pink dot's the Black Sea, and I don't have a good enough map for it. It doesn't work though. Okay, and they immediately stop. But in Africa, right down here, the British send a troop of soldiers, and they start convincing the Egyptians, which were controlled by the Ottomans, to kick the Ottomans out, and that England, who controlled the Suez Canal, would allow them to have their freedom. Okay, they say, hey, get rid of the Ottomans, fight the Ottomans for us, and we'll give you their freedom. And it works. And in North Africa, the Ottomans start losing land from the local people who were fighting on behalf and who were given weapons and money by the British. Let's not forget that in this period, the British had the greatest empire, the largest empire in the world. Okay, so so here we are. The British.
No colors. No color ID.
The British. Sorry. The British in North Africa defeat the Germans or the Ottoman Empire. They kick the Ottomans out. And in Arabia, okay, which is Saudi Arabia, which had not been taken by the Europeans during the Age of Imperialism, they also kick the Ottomans out. They say, we're going to have Arabia for Arabs. We don't want the Turks to rule over us anymore. There was just a little small area of Egypt that joined in. A lot of this was taking place in Saudi Arabia, or Arabia as it was called, before the Saudi family took over. We have that here, right, in Egypt and the Lawrence of Arabia. They attack and defeat the Ottoman Empire in the Middle East. They also, the Germans, who have this huge empire, who have Australia and over here in Singapore and Burma, they decide that they're going to attack the German colonial islands. So the Germans had built some colonies over here in Southeast Asia during this period. All of these little islands you see here were part of the German, what they called German New Guinea. And the Australians and largely the Japanese are going to come in, and they're going to take these islands from the Germans. So now we're seeing that both in Southeast Asia and in North Africa and the Middle East, the Germans and the Ottomans are losing. Okay, this is a big deal, right? What about us? Most of us know we got in this war, right? How, why, what? Look, the US was determined to stay neutral, largely because, and this is an interesting fact you may not know, but there are actually more Germans in America than English, Irish, Italians, any other country of origin. Let me repeat that. The country of origin with the most Americans is Germany, not England or anyone else. I think Mexico's number two, but anyway. Um, so the U.S. didn't want to pick a side. We traded with both. We had a huge connection with England because of our heritage, but we also had a lot of Germans. We didn't want to make them mad. But eventually, Germany gets a bunch of submarines. They call them U-boats. And they float around the Atlantic Ocean and they start knocking off US ships that are bringing supplies to Britain, even if it's just food. Because that's how you win. That's especially England, which is an island. You starve England out. So this was part of the German war plan. And on May 7th, 1915, the Germans sink a passenger ship called the Lusitania. Remember that name. There were 100 Americans on it. It was a British ship. And it really made America mad because at that point, if you took a ship from New York to London, which is what this ship was doing, you were rich. Okay, these ships, they were cruises. This was a cruise liner. Okay, these cruises were not for the average American. Like today, right? Many of us could probably afford a cruise. They're not that expensive, although I wouldn't go on a cruise until 5 years after this whole coronavirus mess. Okay, I'm sorry, I stopped. Please don't sue me, cruise line companies. I love cruises. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, they sink this cruise liner. So now you just killed a bunch of Americans. You killed a bunch of rich Americans. Little does the book say that they actually found weapons on that ship at the very bottom. America was trying to ship some weapons over to Britain. And Britain was buying them. Okay, that's something just to add. So after that, though, the U.S. makes Germany promise. No more what they call, remember this phrase, remember this, unrestricted submarine warfare. No more of that. You can't just kill passenger ships. You can't. If you do, we're going to jump in this war on the side of Britain and France, and you don't want US in this war. We are bad. We're so powerful, you have no idea yet. Germany. Don't mess with us, Germany. Okay? Don't knock out any more of our ships. No more unrestricted submarine warfare, Germany. You tell them.
I need to get one to these.
And it lasts. Okay? For the next 2 years, Germany doesn't knock out any of our ships. But in April of 1917, Germany feels like if we can just cut off British supplies, we can win. We're on the edge of winning, especially in the West along the trenches. They say that the French and the British are getting tired. Germans make the biggest mistake of World War I. They wake up the sleeping giant. And they again start engaging in unrestricted submarine warfare. The United States immediately declares war on Germany. They throw, they start a military draft. We, our country, starts a military draft with all young men and boys, start enlisting, we start training people, we start building factories to build weapons, instructing our factories to build weapons and airplanes and tanks and everything we're going to need for this war. And when the United States steps foot, when U.S. soldiers step foot on that European continent after the Germans mistakenly had brought us into this war. It's over. Don't mess with the United States. Also, and I don't have this on my slide, but I should, the year before, the Germans, why am I trying to type right now? Had sent a secret message called the Zimmerman letter to Mexico. And they said, hey, Mexico, if you guys, this sounds a lot like what they said to the Ottomans. They say, if you guys invade the United States after we start unrestricted submarine warfare again, we'll give you back the land they stole from you in the Mexican-American War. We will give you California and Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada and Colorado and Utah. We'll give it back to you if you attack the United States. Now, England intercepts this message. Remember, these messages are going by like telegram, and they figured it out. It tells us the United States is not happy about this. Okay, and we go to Mexico. We're like, hey, were you going to do anything about this? Oh no, we're friends. We're your friend. You say, thank you. We're your friend too. But now we're mad at Germany. When they start bombing our boats, forget about it. Forget about it. This is it. This is the decision that costs Germany World War I. And World War II, although today Germany is a great friend to the United States. They would regret this decision. Yes, they would.